Ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it's time for this past week's Dragula on Drinks and Drag. With the resident Papi Chulo, Remy. Come get your face beat by the one and only drag beauty queen, Lindsay Aguilera. And the one and only troublemaker himself, Kris Avalon. So grab a drink and come on in, because the lounge is open 24/7.
Well, hello. I should have did that in the last episode because that would have been Drag Race related. But anyway, welcome to another episode of Drinks and Drags, episode 9. I'm your moderator, Kris Avalon. And yes, basically, for you tuning in for the first time, Drinks and Drag is a panel show where we have 3 people who basically just give our opinions on what's going on in the world of drag and also in pop culture entertainment news. So yeah, we're just going to be bringing it to you for the next 90 minutes, maybe less, because usually our time is 90 minutes when we just talk about everything we talked about. But yes, love you all for watching. Glad you're all tuning in. So without further ado, so we can get to these topics, girl, let's bring my residential sister, Mr. into the room. The one and only, the incomparable Lindsay Aguilera, serving short J-Lo in the morning realness, honey.
Straight up J-Lo. Hi, everyone.
Yes,
Thanks for watching.
I love this short hair.
Episode 9. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's
cute.
cute.
Whatever.
She's a look.
She's looking. She's Naomi Campbell. Yes. Okay, let's stop. But anyway, so moving right along, let's bring in our resident Papi Chulo. You know, that's just the thing that we do with the show. Let's bring him in, Mr. Remy. Oh, itchy.
Hey. Back for another fun-filled episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last show we did, I was like, I drank liquor. Right now, I'm just gonna stick with water. Clear bottle, because you know,
I have a little bit of both.
we're trying to no advertisements or whatever. That keep it clean, keep it fresh. Gotta be alert, because you know we ain't trying to be a sloppy, drunken mess like Miss Cohen was at the New Year's Eve special. We're going to get into the ratings on that and the Ryan Seacrest coming up. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about Janet Jackson and this documentary where she's finally giving her side of the story after we saw the infamous one that was on Hulu. And then there was someone that literally just came across my desk before we went live that somebody posted something about Justin Timberlake. I'm like, oh, I want to bring this up and ask the panel's opinion since it goes within the theme. We're going to be talking about, like we said, Andy Cohen. We got stuff about, there's some trans stories that I think is going to be relatively interesting. I want to get everybody's opinion on, and a whole lot more. I think we also have a topic of, Grindr is revealing the countries with the most tops and bottoms. So that should be an interesting one too. First, we'll get into that controversial story about J Balvin, talking about he not Afro Latino. We all got some Latin blood on this panel. So it'd be interesting to see what everybody's opinions is on this. And I got something to say as well. So before we do, let's break it down on what was going on in the world of drag. So when we went on vacation, 2 shows had their season finale. We had Dragula and we had Queen of the Universe. But first, let's get into Dragula. So for those of you, child, if you ain't see it by now, then girl, get you Shudder. But or just skip past the episode. I don't know. But congratulations to the one and only Dali, who won season 4. Well deserved. This was a tight season. I was living for all the queen. This was a very good season. I was living for my girl Sigourney. You know, I was living for a lot of people. I heard that she's also going to be going on the tour as well, because I could have sworn they only said one person was going, but I heard she's going on the tour.
Yeah, all 4 of them are.
I figured that's what it was, because usually I know they do that with American Idol, where it's like the top 10 always goes on tour. But I was wondering how they did it with Dragula. But yeah, the top 4, they should definitely be going. Wait, who came in 4th again?
Saint.
Oh yeah.
Saint and Hoso.
Oh yeah, I like Hoso, although they were saying that she.
Say the name again.
Saint and Hoso Teratoma.
Saint
was 3rd, right?
In my personal opinion, I think Saint was 4th, but
quiet as it's kept, I was thinking the same thing.
Because she plateaued early.
Yeah, Saint really wasn't bringing it in the season. Like, he won Resurrection, rightfully so, but
didn't win a maxi challenge or like the main challenge. But Hoso had 2 wins going into the final. as did Sigourney, and I think Dolly won like 3.
Mm. But Dolly is well deserved. And, there was a big story that came out that I saw a lot of it was on Reddit. It was also a couple of YouTubers were talking about it as well. But there was a person that accused Dolly of abuse, has basically retracted and apologized for some stuff that they put out there. So they basically said, I think I was trying to see what the name was. But it says, I'm retracting, correcting, and apologizing for the accusations I made against Jeremy Griffiths, Dolly. I have contacted mods for immediate removal of posts and comments as I no longer have access to the account. I apologize to Dolly for making these accusations and retracting my statement that they groomed me, and am correcting it to that they did not groom me. Dolly is not an abuser. Davi was the only abuser in the band Blood on the Dance Floor, which Dolly was a
Fun
part of.
fact: I used to listen to that band in high school, and I did not know that Dolly was the second one in that group.
Ooh.
So I kind of find it funny, full circle. I'm just like, oh wow. Reading this article, I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy that was going through that. So I'm glad that this person's retracting what they're saying. And this is why I was saying before, like when I was debating on social media earlier about this whole thing with the story that came out. And this is off the topic type of thing, but it might as well just bring it in. The whole story with Chris Noth and everything that's happening with him, where they're now removing him from the season finale. He was supposed to be in the season finale of And Just Like That. And they're removing him, and they fired him from all the other jobs that he was doing. And it's sort of like, I always say, let's handle this on a case-by-case basis. So you had Dolly with this rumor that was going around for years that he was an abuser, and people running around with this narrative, and here you have the person who was the accuser who's saying that it wasn't true. So I always say, let's take things on a case-by-case basis before we start saying Me Too, and before we start Me Tooing people, and then all of a sudden y'all want to start removing people from gigs and jobs and things until a thorough investigation has been done. So kudos to them for that. Speaking of other shows, then we're talking about Queen of the Universe. Yes, congratulations to Drag Queen, who beat Ada Vox to win season 1 of Queen of the Universe. That was another one, so she's taking home $250,000 from the very short show. I liked Queen of the Universe. I love I love the concept, but I don't like the idea of them doing. You had 14 queens and only 6 episodes. Like, man. I get that maybe in the UK y'all on some type of there's a budget thing or whatever the case is, but to me, it should have been stretched out a bit more so we could at least get to know the girls and really get into their vocals and knowing who they are as queens, so we can kind of get into that. Like, I didn't mind the whole audience voting. I didn't mind that, and then the judges choose, okay, which out of these girls get to go home, and then we can kind of go in on it on social media. But I didn't like the idea of. The season was too damn short, basically what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. Do you guys agree?
Maybe it was just also for time. They probably didn't want to spend more because the acts that were there, like the judge panels too, they famous people were there as well. Where it's like maybe they just don't want to take the chance where if it sunk and it didn't do good, you know what I mean? You didn't.
They didn't take away too much time from them.
That a production, right? So now it's a short episode, but based on the audience and the fans and people wanting it, now they can come back full throttle season 2 and do more than just a 6-episode type of thing. This is what I'm thinking. They just didn't want to risk the chance of it not doing well, which I think makes sense in my opinion.
Well, keep in mind that All Stars 1 of Drag Race was only like 6 episodes too, and then All Stars 2 came back with like fucking 14 episodes because they want to keep sending people home and coming back and all that. They dragged that shit out. So
and I know people hated and still hate to this day All Star season 1 because that was a extremely short season, and they had the girls. They were doing double eliminations in every episode. They paired them up, so it wasn't fair. So yeah, I get it. It's probably a budget thing. It's probably a network thing. When you go to certain streaming services, we'll give you a couple of episodes. We don't want to take a full chance on your show. Because what if it doesn't work? And, they don't never want to take a full chance on minority-based shows. But white people, y'all can make up whatever y'all want to make up, and y'all just get a bunch of why is The Bachelor still on? So, there's that. But bringing it on back. So, I was inspired by Queerty because they did a thing about which Drag Race contestants should appear on next season's Queen of the Universe. Because we had Juju be on this season, but she was pretty much chopped in the first episode. Like she didn't even make it past episode 1, and I knew she was getting chopped because of the song choice. So at the end of the day, it always boils down to the song choice. Which queens would you like to see on there? I mean, I have their list, and I have a couple of others that they didn't add because they didn't put Courtney Act on there. And I'm like, ma'am, she should be a part of it, especially since she did Pop Idol.
She definitely should. Yeah, Adore Delano.
Mm.
If we're putting Courtney up there, Adore Delano definitely should be put up there.
You know, I'm Team Jan.
Fifi.
Mm-hmm.
Jan.
That's probably a weird place where she could actually shine. I know she hasn't been on the show yet, but a queen who does sing that I feel like should be on there, probably Laguna Blue as well. Mm-hmm. If she were to not get on Drag Race, she could get her shine on there at least.
Yeah. I was thinking what Ben de la Creme, then there's Kennedy Davenport. There's a couple. I do agree with Adore. I also agree with we should definitely see Courtney on there. Who else? I know Jinx Monsoon does music, but I don't know context. Like I know it's probably way out there. Like Trixie.
I feel like Jinx
but
does
Trixie was country.
Like Broadway, off Broadway type of music. You know what I mean? Not to discredit her. I don't want to go there. I'm just saying I don't think vocally. You know what I mean? I feel like, my opinion, we can do an off Broadway musical because you don't have to sound great or you don't have to sound bad. You just gotta. You know what I mean? Like
this is also a show where you have to show range.
Like
you can't show just one type of.
Exactly, because the pop stars went home. Because the pop stars got chopped pretty quickly. Because it's like you have a great personality, but you're vocally limited. I was thinking Davina De Campo from UK season 1, so they can put up in there too. She has, that she got that Mariah, that 5-octave vocal range, so that would work too. So I actually like the idea because of them bringing live singers, because not all of them lip sync in real life. So there's a lot of girls out here with a lot of talent. Yeah, maybe they could bring some of the girls from Stephanie's Child, like we had Jan and Rose and all the rest of the girls from there. They could sing on there as well.
They could bring back Charlie Hides because she said she doesn't lip sync, she live sings, so she can sit to 2-step.
Yes, do it.
Charlie Hides the lip syncs or the vocals.
She's a lip sync. She's the vocal assassin.
Okay. So moving right along, speaking of simply keeping it in the Drag Race family. So Drag Race has another spinoff coming, and we were talking about it in the previous Drag Race episode that we did. They got like 5,000 spinoffs, so we're about to get another one called UK versus the World, which is going to basically see international all-star queens battle it out for the crown. So I remember hearing about this a year ago. I don't know when it's supposed to air, but there's been a rumors of the list of queens, and I have them here. I had to write them down because I was like, I'm not going to search all over social media for the thing. So, but these names have been around for a while, so we can take it as we will. So they said Bag of Chips from London, Blue Hydrangea from Belfast, UK, Cheryl Hole from Exodus, UK. So that's so far 3 girls from UK. JD Jacquet from Volendam, Netherlands, Jimbo from Victoria, Canada, Juju B from Boston, Massachusetts, again, Lemon from New York, Monique Hart from Los Angeles, California, and Pagina Heels from Bangkok. So those are the rumored names. I don't think that list is accurate, but because I've been hearing them names floating around for a long time. But when they do International All-Stars, and I did hear that they're only doing 9 queens. So that's another thing. If you're going to do International, how are you going to do 9? But okay, whatever. Who would y'all like to see compete on International All-Stars?
First of all, from that list, I love me some Lemon. I would love to see if Lemon's actually on there because I thought that she should have won Canada season 1. But it's just my biased opinion. Somebody else, I feel like if they're going to do every franchise, then I could see like Poopy Poison going back on.
Oh, yes. I love Poopy.
She's very popular.
I love me some Poopy Poison.
I can see her going back on.
I wanted her to win.
Me too.
I thought she was the crown winner.
Carmen Falala was.
I loved Carmen.
Yeah, Carmen was going to be. Carmen was such the obvious choice if they were going to pick her.
I loved her, but it's so good. But I really thought Poopy was in for the crown. I get it.
Or at least make it to the end.
But
she didn't make it to the end.
Yeah.
I could see them. I could see like Alexis Mateo doing it. I could see like Right.
Yeah, definitely. I can see Alexis.
April. What about like April Carrion, Alyssa Edwards? You know, you get a little country, a little more Puerto Rican over
I
there.
think
I can't see them trying to do another drag race of any kind.
Mm-mm.
I can't see either one of them.
No,
I think Alyssa's beyond Drag Race at this point.
Agreed.
A cameo maybe, but not to compete.
I can see her as a guest judge.
That too.
But I can't see her like being like, oh, I want to come up here and perform.
Something that you don't got to be on set for more than 2 days for.
book dark.
But yeah, I feel like there are a lot of strong candidates from each franchise that if you put them together, it'll make a pretty good season. They have like about 50 iterations of these shows in every country.
I know, so it's gonna be so hard to like, how do you will it down to just 9? And Pagina, she was a host on the Thailand one, and I know they canceled it. Unfortunately, I like Thailand, but seeing her on the opposite side and competing on the show, that'd be relatively interesting. Maybe we could, if they would make any choice, I would say like it would be interesting.
Like a reverse Brooklyn Heights situation.
Yes,
where she goes from a judge to a contestant as opposed to the other way around.
That'd be an interesting twist. Okay, so now since we're in the whole reality TV thing, this is one that I had added that I thought would be relatively interesting because they're doing Celebrity Big Brother, and normally I don't watch Big Brother. However, this season that I've been hearing with the rumored cast, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a good one because I know last season Tamar Braxton won, and then season 1 Marissa Jared Winokur won. I think she was in Hairspray. But the rumored cast, this has been floating around. And I've seen a couple of people to myself. So I was like, oh, we're going to see what you guys think. So the list entails Johnny Bananas, basically known from The Challenge. Boston Rob Mariano from Survivor. We have Clay Aiken from American Idol and Celebrity Apprentice. So he is no stranger to reality. And please, don't make don't bring nothing into candidates because she swears she's your best friend. Speaking of American Idol, Todrick Hall is rumored to be a part of this season. I was just waiting for your reaction. So that'd be interesting. She can use the coin. She got to pay her peoples. Tiffany Pollard, I hope New York will be a part of this because New York is ratings gold. So also, speaking of ratings gold, or depending on how you feel about it, Lisa Rinna from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And then also, Scott Disick is rumored to be a part of this. Can you imagine them two being in the same house together, especially since he dated her daughter allegedly?
I think that'd be the perfect excuse to have them both on.
Also, speaking of Bravo, Jax Taylor from Vanderpump Rules, which I guess is interesting, but I know he was fired from the show, and I never watched Vanderpump Rules, so I couldn't stand any of them on that damn show. I just thought they all were unlikable and vile. And since we were talking about Drag Race, there's about Kim Chi from Drag Race Season 8 might be a part of the show. Kellyanne Conway rounds out the cast. And of course, they said the show begins around February 2nd, and Julie Chen, the Chenbot, is back to host. But I can see why they got Kellyanne on the show, because last season they had Omarosa. But Omarosa is from the world of reality TV, and she worked on the Trump administration, so it makes sense to have her a part of Celebrity Apprentice. But Kellyanne, oh no, she's gonna give us full-on Crypt Keeper / Karen realness. Like, I can't with her. Like, I can't see her being reality entertainment.
What we're gonna
She'll be the first one to get shot.
I could see Lisa Rinna doing it too, because Lisa Rinna as well. Yeah. But I could also see New York doing it because New York did the Celebrity Big Brother in the UK. And she came in 4th place on her season.
Iconic.
She almost won. So I could see her being her driving force to come back. Because I think also Frankie, Ariana Grande's brother Frankie, went on regular Big Brother first and then followed up on Celebrity Big Brother after the fact, because I think he did it twice. So I think I could totally see New York doing that as well. And plus, it's a check for her. What other check is she getting?
Except appearing on that the T.S. Madison Experience on WeTV. That was I think her last reality gig. So yeah,
she was on the Zeus Network for 1 episode and a half.
Was that for Real Chance of Love or something?
Yeah. One More Chance.
That's so.
Wait, what do you think about the casting?
Wait, Real Chance of Love was VH1.
No. Now he's on Zeus now. But
yeah, that's One More Chance.
I mean, I actually don't watch the show, and I know there's a lot of celebrities been on it before. I actually don't watch it. I don't get it. I've only seen clips like with the New York, and I only seen it because of who she is and her persona. It's just good to see. You know what I mean? Like if she was to be on CNN News for something, I'd watch it because she's gonna be on it. But I wouldn't fully watch the show. I personally, I still don't get it. I know the logistic of it. People explain it to me all the time. I still don't get it. But I don't know about the Scott Disick though. I don't see it for him to be on Big Brother. Like I mean, if he is, that's wow, that's crazy. But I feel like it would be beneath him
Really?
only because of how he how he carries himself, and you know, him being with the Kardashian family. I don't know. I don't see it for him being. If he is, that's crazy. I mean, I would see Chris
I
probably
think I
advising him
do
to go do it. Like
because
do it for the
the
fun, but he don't got time for it. He gets annoyed really quick. I don't think he looked like he'll either be a wallflower or want to get the fuck out quick because he'd be
I
annoyed
think
by
he'll
everything.
do it because I don't think he's gonna be on the Hulu show, and
No.
they're still gonna be on TV. So he's like, well, let me, it's not a bad business move because at the end of the day, all the show is that they're just playing games with each other, and it's like a popularity contest, and they vote people off, or like they place people up for elimination, and the public votes people off. So it's not like a bad publicity stunt for him. He'll get a few extra weeks on TV.
Yeah, and fame is one hell of a drug. You'd be
Something.
surprised. Like people will do any. Like we all know, Lisa will do anything for a check. So,
No, Lisa does. I that's why I didn't say anything about her. She
her
wore
using.
diapers on national TV. She would do everything.
But also,
So
I could see her and Scott having a conversation on the side and be like, "Hey, we're both gonna do this. Let's do it up for the cameras," and
exactly.
it'll be a good business move on their part. Because
Exactly.
if you last the entirety of the show, you only have to be sequestered for a month because
Mhm.
it's within a month's time frame. So it's not that bad. I don't think it's a bad loss on their part if they were to both do it.
Yeah, I always think of like the bigger picture, like what would I'm always thinking in the producer's mind, like that would be ratings goal if you had this cast. I mean, I was like, this is a really good reality TV cast that you would want to put on because they're all like a lot of interesting personalities. I don't know much about Boston Rob because he was like on Survivor 100 years ago. I don't know how many seasons they had. Jax Taylor, he'll do anything for screen time. He's a thirst bug. He'll probably try to sleep with people in the house, including Kellyanne Conway. Like, he has no shame in his game. Well, who he dip his dick in. I could
Well, he needs
definitely
a show
say
because wasn't he termed from
Yep.
it was
Vanderpump Rules
terminated from
anyway?
Bravo.
He was
He's
like, oh,
and I'm
so
sure he could use some money
he needs it.
because this
Some
fame
more
thing. What could he
exposure,
do?
tell his story.
Exactly. So then you have, and I hope we can get some girls from Drag Race. I would love to see a queen from Drag Race compete on that. I mean, we've had Courtney Act, in the
She
one in
won.
London, in the UK. Yeah, exactly. So why don't we should start incorporating some of the Drag Race girls into the American version? It would make sense.
While this is true, Kimchi personally, I don't see her doing it.
No, but I could definitely see Todrick doing it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I don't know when his tour. I don't know when his tour is. I would have to Google that and see if it clashes with the February shooting schedule, which February 2nd when they said that it's going to air. So speaking of thirsty ass people on reality TV shows or in the world of reality television, let's talk about Andy Cohen. So he has come under fire. For acting a whole fool over at CNN during the New Year special where he got shit-faced drunk. He said he was a tad overserved. Mind you, the alcohol and the shot glasses was on the table and he was pouring them himself. So I guess he was tad over serving himself and blaming other
And a
people.
heavy wrist.
That part. So, he was acting like a full-on Ken in his half-ass apology. So, he did all that, and then he went in and just threw shade at Ryan Seacrest, calling them losers over there. Meanwhile, CNN's ratings were 2 million viewers, and then Ryan Seacrest brought in 20 million viewers over at ABC. So, looks like Ryan Seacrest to me is the one winning, if you want to, to quote Charlie Sheen. So for him to say that, it's just sort of like, I don't get it. I mean, I get the, and then he went in through shade at our no longer mayor, Bill de Blasio, which in my opinion, and we collectively agreed, he said no lies about Bill, but you don't go on TV and get crazy, sloppy drunk and political. So he has apologized. He said the only thing he regrets is what he said about Ryan Seacrest. And there was, so he don't regret nothing else. He don't regret getting fucked up. CNN, there were rumors that he had gotten fired. Then come to find out he wasn't fired. CNN is going to have him come back. Some people on social media were debating, well, if it was somebody black or with somebody else, they would be gone. But white privilege, he gets saved. And I've heard stories. Should I bring up the Logan Florida one? Because,
he did not say that.
What?
He
did.
He did not say the only thing I'm apologizing for.
He did. He said, he said, if you're watching ABC, you're watching nothing. and you laugh. He said, it says on his Sirius XM show, Radio Andy, on Monday, this is what he said. The only thing that I regret saying, the only thing is that I slammed the ABC broadcast and I really like Ryan Seacrest. And he's a great guy. And I really regret saying that. I was just stupid and drunk and feeling it. But he did not apologize.
Oh my God, I live.
De Blasio said, He said the only thing that the Democrats and Republicans can agree on is what a horrible mayor he has been. I mean, he told no lies. He was horrible. But me watching what he did, it was just sort of like a hot ass mess. He was just a sloppy ass drunk. I'm trying to pull up this. Oh, so basically when he said good evening, I was a bit overserved. And Logan Harcourt was a New York drag queen. But he said, you weren't overserved. You served yourself. You were pushing liquor on Anderson Cooper, and it was a mess. You have had the booger sugar. Y'all can pretty much figure out what that is. Wiped off your nose on national television. When will at CNN pull the plug? At Kathy Griffin was fired for far less. So the gays was getting his ass together. And I heard some inside tea about Miss Cohen, her being a nightmare out in Fire Island and being a sloppy ass drunk. One drag queen had to read him because some woman came and was like, "Oh, I love you." He was like, "I know," and she was like, "Look, she had to read him for that." So Andy is a mess. So I don't know what y'all think about this story.
Well, I mean, listen, you can be a mess at a party in your own home, do whatever you want. Like, I don't think you should be held accountable because of what he did on TV. Let's talk about what he did on TV. And the thing is, you was a hot mess there. You know what I mean? And my thing is, what I'm also getting, it's not that he was just sloppy drunk, and it's not just the gay community, just a lot of people as a whole. And I was reading up on this a lot because I was getting ready for the show, and I wanted to make sure what I was about to say is, and I want to use the word alleged, is also people are
allegedly.
saying,
I should say that too. Allegedly,
actions and how he behaved and how he was acting, and what we know of him, allegedly, yeah, and what we know of him is it wasn't just alcohol. So he wasn't just being drunk or feeling herself from the shots that he was taking. It was allegedly he was taking another substance as well, and this is put on TV. So now you're hitting territories that's not professional, but you're doing something on national TV where people can see that's illegal, and you're a damn fool. You know what I mean? And it's true. And this is why they're also bringing up the Kathy Griffin thing, because what she did was, bring up an art, whether you like it or not. It was just that, and it was in a silver place. It was just a picture that could be thrown away. You know what I mean? But people already witnessed this. You know what I mean? And they were also comparing it. I remember the Super Bowl. They brought up the Janet Jackson thing. Like, things you can't take away, things you can't unsee. So that's something we also have to take into consideration. I think by him just brushing it off quickly and then apologizing and owning, like, oh yeah, I was drunk, I own it, kind of makes it seem like, in my opinion, you are hiding. You did something more than just that. You know what I mean? If we go, all three of us wake up and we're embarrassed, we're gonna play the I don't remember card. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed, I'm walking away. But if I'm like, all right guys, I own, I was so fucking sloppy, I was so this, I don't know, people kind of question like, well then bitch, what are you hiding? Because if you knew you was being stupid and you knew you were being sloppy, you were a hot mess, what are you covering for? Because you're coming too clean, in my opinion. You understand what I'm saying? It's to cover up something else. So maybe if I did something inappropriate with somebody and someone else witnessed, I'm just trying to take over the narrative and be like, I was so drunk I can't remember, but it's me covering what I did with somebody. You understand what I'm saying? Does it make sense?
Yeah,
I get you.
No,
I think that, like, first of all, let's just start off with the fact that his best friend is Anderson Cooper, and whenever I think of CNN, I think of Anderson Cooper. So just off the strength of that, so he has his pull there. I also agree with what Kris said earlier, that if he had been a minority of like any race other than just a white male with privilege, that he would have just got the axe immediately. There would have been no opportunity for him to even send out a tweet or whatever to apologize before he got fired, and the decision would have been final. Because I heard that he was fired, and then I heard he wasn't fired, and it was like,
Yeah,
it was like a
I
whole
heard
bunch of
that too.
confusion. But yeah, I think he definitely like used his pull that he had with Anderson Cooper and like saved his job. It's like, yeah, we're just gonna sweep it under the rug. You have to apologize, whatever the case is, and it's a new day. At the end of the day, it was just, I think he thinks that it was just gonna be like overlooked. But
Isn't it crazy how you can tell someone like Andy, okay, just apologize and own it, right?
Mhm.
But with Kathy, she went and apologized, and you just disowned her because you were so disgusted. You understand what I'm saying? Isn't that
Yeah.
so crazy on spin? Someone is told to do something, and the other person is owning it, and it's just like, okay, but I'm still not going to be your friend. It's not a win situation here, no matter
Yeah,
how
but
you
it's
spin it.
Yeah, and that's basically what Remy said. It's sort of like, yeah, you get to just go on, but I was a tad overserved, and then it's like a little slap on the wrist, which is basically what CNN said, which was Andy said something he shouldn't have on live TV. We've addressed it with him and look forward to having him back next year. And it's sort of like, they're not in the greatest, CNN's not in a good spot, especially with the drama that they've been going through. Like they literally just fired Chris Cuomo because of his having his hand in his brother's sexual assault case and his influence on that. Then you have Don Lemon on thin ice with the scratching his crotch and putting it under some dude's nose over in oh my god, what is it? The Hamptons. There was that drama, and then of course on top of that, his alleged co-conspirating with Jussie Smollett and that whole drama that happened with that. So he's kind of been given, he's on thin ice with that, but he married a white man, so you probably get a tad slap on the wrist. But yeah, but with Andy Cohen, it's sort of like I don't watch CNN on the strength of my girl Kathy Griffin. So I'm not watching it based on how they treated her. And to me, it's just this is crazy. First of all, the man is what 53 years old. You should know better in regards of what your drink limit is. Now, don't get me wrong. Like on New Year's, everybody's out drinking, having a good time. I understand pandemic, this, and the third, but you should know your limit if you're going to be on camera. He's not somebody who's funny, so you would try. So you
Agreed.
thought maybe get sloshy, shit faced drunk, and then maybe that'll make me funny. But girl, you are no different than some of these other social media people that be on here where you think y'all are funny. You're just a shade. Like there's a difference between what was it, like on Drag Race. You could be shady or you could be funny, but a lot of times the queens who would fail those challenges on Drag Race were just too shady, but didn't know how to bring the comedy. He's not a comedy queen, so you being on social media, you being on live television, just slurring your words and being embarrassingly drunk. Who's this? You entertaining straight white people in Middle America? They find that funny. We looking at you like you a whole clown. So, they're talking about not getting rid of him. Okay, well, whatever. I'm still not watching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll stick
Mm-hmm.
with, I guess, Ryan Seacrest again, have him on in the background, and Billy Porter sing another one of his damn songs like he do every year. And, and have Sierra doing runway walks and keep it moving. But yeah. Oh, then also there was a story about that he is kind of caught, like Kelly Ripa is caught between a rock and a hard place because Andy Cohen is her best friend, and Ryan Seacrest is her colleague over at Kelly and Ryan. So, according to reports, Kelly likes Andy, but she adores Ryan. Andy is her friend, but Ryan is her work husband. He has family. When you attack Ryan, you also attack Kelly. That's how close they are. This is according to Radar Online. And they said what makes matters worse is that Kelly works for ABC. She is very loyal. She is a class act, calling ABC viewers losers. As Cohen Day while co-hosting CNN's New Year's Countdown isn't cool. One thing is for sure, it's going to be very it's going to be very to ever ask. Okay, that's not correctly written. I don't understand what that means, but anyway, it's going to be, I guess, difficult to ask and to fill in on ABC next to Kelly the next time Ryan is off. So I guess we won't be seeing him on there.
Kelly don't got two TVs. She don't got two TVs in her house. She can contribute ratings to both of them by playing one on one TV and one on the other.
Okay, well, Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen is her best friends. But yeah, but I don't agree with the whole Ryan as her work husband. I know production EJ is a fan, like he watches Kelly and Ryan, and we talk about Kelly and Ryan a lot of times behind the scenes, and how she basically talks like diminishes him and and basically like every time he has a story, oh yeah, I can relate. Oh yeah, girl, can you shut the fuck up and just let me talk and just stop trying to act like a know-it-all. So there's a lot of that. So the work husband thing, I don't know if I believe. You're cordial because he's there, but I think she's still bad about the whole Michael Strahan thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna break that.
I'm sure she's still miserable.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't believe that part, but I do believe that she is kind of like in a rock and hard place because Ryan Seacrest, she has to work with him, and Andy Cohen is somebody that she's been best friends with for a long time. So yeah, he made it. You have to realize your actions have repercussions, and you put your friend, your so-called bestie, in a difficult place. That's all.
Agreed.
So since we were talking about besties and friends, let's talk about Miss Keke Palmer. So there was this thing that came out, and I was like, oh, I thought this would be a good topic to bring up. So she recently, because we talking about friends and things, she recently tweeted that if you're not cool anymore, take pictures of you with said person you're not cool with anymore off your Instagram, off of all your social medias. Me personally, I'm like, child, who got the time? Like, look, Megan Thee Stallion just took all the pictures down from the recent man she been dating for 5 minutes. Y'all need to stop putting your shit out there, first of all. But that's just me. But what do y'all say about this? I mean, are you that petty where it's just like, oh, if we're not friends anymore, let me just wipe everything clean? Or you just like, you know what, this is a part of history, I'm just leave it up.
I think it depends on the severity of the situation. I know there are some people who I am no longer cool with that whenever I do see Snapchat memories or something pop up and they're included, I delete it because I think it's to the point where I feel like I don't need to be seeing this. There's nothing to reminisce about if there's never anything. If it's just somebody that I had a falling out with that we're not speaking necessarily, but it's like there's no bad blood, no, it's fine. I'll keep it. It is what it is. But yeah, it just depends.
Yeah, I feel like when you die socially, for me, it's the same thing. I can't, like, I'm one that always posts. I post through the media like 100 billion things. I mean, if you look at my phone book, I just told me now I couldn't save the last 3 pictures I took before we went on because my storage is full. Surprise, surprise. But I'm just like Remy. Like, if something does show up, like, I'm not going to scroll through all of my IG to find a specific thing. I know eventually when it does pop up, or I do find the time to like get it and link it, I'll delete you right away when you're socially dead to me. But if it's someone who we just stopped speaking, it wasn't a fight, we're just not hanging out, we're not doing anything, no, I'm not deleting you, I'm not taking you off or anything. But like a really bad breakup, I'm definitely yeah, you're off. I'm not adding you, I'm deleting the pictures, I'm not doing anything. When you show up on my memory on my phone book, or when I'm deleting stuff to find storage, you're deleted too. I'm very much like that. Why keep that memory? I don't even want to think of you.
Yeah.
And I hope you do the same for me.
Keke and I are both Virgos, so I guess we both agree. It's sort of like I'm petty in that way. It's like, if I don't fuck with you anymore, take all the pictures down, or I'll do it, and I'm gonna block your ass. So I don't know. I can't control what other people do on their social media, but for me, it's like, okay, if I have the time, I'll go through it and just like, okay, let me get rid of this. And like, I agree on Snapchat. If there's any moments of like where you were out at a party with someone that you're not cool with anymore, then it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that memory because it's not something that I want to flash back to because the drama was just too painful and it was a lot, and you don't want to be reminded of that. So I agree.
Agreed.
With that story. So moving right along, let's talk about Janet Jackson. So what was it, last month, or was it a couple months ago? Whatever. Back in 2021, they had the little documentary of sorts on Hulu, which basically dove into Janet Jackson's Super Bowl drama with Justin Timberlake. So she has a 2-part documentary simply titled Janet that's going to appear on Lifetime, I think, January 28th. So I'm excited about that. She's going to give
and the A&E.
Yes, exactly what she said. She's going to offer some rare glimpse into her life and struggles, which I have to say is about damn time because Janet don't really give us that insight into her personal life. So I'm finally happy that she's going to give us an insight into her life, including never before seen home videos, family tragedies such as the death of her brother Michael, as well as the child sexual abuse allegations made against him, which he's denied, but she said something other that people kind of lumped her in that because, you know, guilty by association. Also, she talks, you know, her mother's in it. She talks about the rumor about the alleged child she had back in the 80s. Remember that rumor that came out? And she had a love child back in the 80s that she kept hidden.
Yes.
Well, she's going to address the whole drama between Justin Timberlake and the Super Bowl. She's going to give her side of the story. And I got some more tea on that whole Justin Timberlake story that just came out that we could address in a minute. But when you guys saw the trailer for it was like 2.5 minutes. What did y'all think of this upcoming Janet Jackson documentary?
I already wanted to see it because I watched the one on Hulu, so like it gave me a little bit more insight. But it wasn't until Janet was like personally saying, "Oh, I didn't ask for this. I have my own that's coming out that I'm working on." It was like, "Oh well, if it's coming directly from her, I'm more interested to see that because I'm already intrigued by what I just realized from the Hulu documentary." I thought it looked real good. I thought the production quality of the trailer looked good. It didn't look like some Wendy Williams produced biopic on Lifetime. It looked real good, and I cannot wait.
The shade, but facts.
I mean, Janet has the coins for it.
That part.
But no, I totally agree. I think it's so perfect because, like, the Janets of the world, or like the secret life of any celebrity, the Marilyn Monroe, like we hear about her death 100 times. But if somebody who was not in the room doesn't know what happened, you know, the story sounds better. Like the Britney Spears, you know, we've heard the story, we know, we analyze it, we talk about it, we have confirmed stuff that comes out. But I think we're going to be more intrigued once she sits down and projects it out of her mouth, the experience and what exactly went down. The story is so much better. And what a perfect time that the Hulu documentary came out. I didn't get a chance to see it because I'm like, I feel like based on the meaning and everything and putting in my 2 cents, and I'm agreeing with what the Hulu thing has put together. I'm like, I'm not, nothing has changed. The story hasn't changed for me, but I'm more intrigued to hear from Janet because it's coming out of her mouth. She's going to speak and tell you word for word what it is that's going to happen. It's like reading any book, like the Mariah. You know, we've heard the Mariah story a million times, her going crazy, and we all had our 2 cents on it. You know, her coming with the book and speaking in her own words. Again, the story was way more better, it coming out of her mouth. So I'm so looking forward to this. It's
And then
really
also like the bits that they include about Michael Jackson, it's like whatever when topics have to come about Michael Jackson, I think it's such an interesting thing because he was just not all there. So it's like getting the perspective of things from his sister, and then on top of that, how just being his sister affected her career. I think that's so interesting.
Exactly. So I'm definitely looking forward to.
That's good.
I'm definitely looking forward to this documentary. It's been a long time coming. Like I like the Hulu documentary because we were getting it from the people, you know, the side of the story from the people who were working on the Super Bowl halftime event. And I still don't know what the sides of the story. Still really don't know what happened. Like we heard what people saying, and there was a door shut, and Justin was in there for like 2 seconds, and they agreed to something, and the costume designer was saying one thing. So it's still, even after watching it, I still don't feel like I got the complete story. I feel like hopefully once Janet sits down and gives her side of the story, it'll be, you know, we can finally put this to bed and we can move on. But also I was hearing that there is a clip in the trailer where it stated that she was contacted by Justin's people to appear on the Super Bowl with him, and I know people are like, well, why didn't she do it? And I'm looking at it as like, you know what? Not with them Duck Dynasty outfits he had on. But for the most part, I agree with her not doing it because it makes him once again, and I guess because, you know, white man don't see it, the forest for the trees, it makes you look like once again you're the hero, the knight in shining armor, and Janet is coming to your situation. So I feel like, no, I'm not coming on your thing so that way you get to look like the guy who rescued good old Janet Jackson from this shit that was going on when you didn't really take responsibility for your part in what happened to Super Bowl. Because before, when the whole titty came out and everything was going good, you was up in here bragging talking about, oh, we got to give y'all something to talk about. And then all of a sudden, when the backlash happened, then all of a sudden you started to backtrack and retreat and go kiss the ring over when Les Moonves was at CBS and that whole drama. So I'm glad she refused. But The Sun, I just got this story. This literally came out yesterday. Yesterday, because basically, according to The Sun, so we can take this as a grain of salt, but I wouldn't be surprised about it. It's saying that Justin is putting his music comeback on hold over fears bombshell Janet Jackson documentary will wreak havoc on his career. So it's been 4 years since he released Man of the Woods, which I didn't realize that. But they're saying that he's putting his return to music on hold ahead of the release of the bombshell documentary for Janet, which he fears will wreak havoc on his career. The Sexy Back Singers team are preparing damage control strategies after it was announced that the first half of the two-parter titled Janet would premiere on January 28th in the U.S. She has spent years working on the documentary, 5 to be exact, which is yet to be confirmed broadcast in the UK, saying it will, we already know it's going to take an in-depth look, but the source is saying to say that Justin and his team are worried about the documentary is an understatement. There was a major backlash against him last year after the film of Britney Spears documentary, and now, of course, he's going to get it again because he had the documentary we just saw on Hulu, and now this is going to come. So, and we already know he's working with the same damn producer he works with all the time, Timberlake, because he don't know no other black people. So,
excuse me. I love me some Timberland. Don't do
I do
that.
too,
Don't do that.
Like evolve, but So yeah, so basically they're saying he's a little worried because he don't know what's going to come out of this documentary, and yet again he's afraid he's going to be dragged on social media. So what do y'all think about this story? According to so that's what I said. Take it with a grain of salt. Hypothetical, alleged thoughts on it.
I mean, I don't think he has much to worry about. It's not like the premiere date of this documentary is up in the air. It comes out at the end of the month. If it doesn't work out in your favor, don't put out your music. Pretty much,
right? Well, that's what's going on. That's exactly what you're saying. Like if you're not nervous, put out your music.
As far as we know, as far as we're concerned, his next music project doesn't have a date for release yet. So what I'm saying is, see how this is gonna ride out, and then base your decision on that.
I guess what they were trying to say was that his music was probably going to be coming out the early 2022. So I guess that's what they were insinuating, but we don't exactly, like you're saying, we don't know when he planned on releasing a first single or even if the album is done. So, yeah, I mean, I've said enough of what I've said enough times on this show about Justin Timberlake and how I don't feature him with how, like, on the strength of what he's done to Britney and what he's done to Janet and how he disrespected a lot of the icons, how he threw shade at Prince when Prince is your elder and you wish you could do all of what he does. But then the overall disrespect that you've done to the icons over the years, and you pretty much ripped off Michael Jackson, but you shaded him too. So when you continuously do that, when you stepped on the backs of others to get where you are and using your privilege to do it and not being aware of it, because we weren't looking at that back then, but now we're in accountability culture where we're holding people accountable for their past behaviors. There was this little things about him. Like, I love the music coming up. Like, I was an NSYNC fan, more or less a JC Chazé than it was, a Justin. But Justin was a star. It is what it is. And I like the solo albums, but you can't deny, like, on the strength of Janet and on Britney, like, I can't. And I know you're a fan, Lindsay, but yeah.
I am. I'm very much a fan. I agree with a lot of things that you mentioned. I also, we also have to remember this goes back to like a lot of things, like when it comes to the J-Lo stealing people's music, like the wording, we have to also be very, very careful. And this goes back to a lot of times when I say certain things, like let's almost like when you say let's wait till proven guilty, and I feel like that's the same thing. Like a lot of the media have said that he has disrespected many people as they come about. But I remember on TRL when they were coming out and Prince, a little interview, Prince was offended, like how Mariah and Rihanna was when they were comparing Justin to him, and Prince threw the shade at him first. So Justin basically gave him the F yous. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't have to respect you. And it's one of those kind of things where it's like, listen, okay, so then we spin it. But now when we
Prince has always been shady.
It's like, okay, okay, but what I'm saying now is let's remember. Being shady or not, if you're going to be shade, prepare to get the shade back. If I'm going to be like you and me, we can go back and forth at work, and people sometimes think we're not friends. And the funny part is we are very good friends, but the way we throw shade at each other, we can own it. But what I'm saying is prepare to take it back. And what I'm saying is it's not a tit for tat type of thing, but my thing is that's the part that we forget. We forget that, okay, Justin did disrespect a legend. Okay, got it. But he didn't wake up out of nowhere to disrespect nobody. As he received the shade, and one thing I do gotta say about Justin, I'm not a fan when it comes to that, is that he's a little, he's a little
Wishy-washy.
he gets very sensitive, too sensitive, and it's my things like, you know what I mean? Like Mariah's not a sensitive person. She throws shade, she gets shade thrown back, and she walks away. But Justin gets too sensitive. So my thing is like, did he overreact maybe with how Prince treated him or played him out when it was the MTV era and TRL? Yes, but at the end of the day, is he goes and delivers back and plays him off, or doesn't support his music, or doesn't go to the Legends Icons to do a show and do a cover for him, or doesn't do it well at all. And we're saying, you see how we snip half of the story and just say, oh, he's disrespectful, and know where people came across, and it's just like, that really wasn't the case. Same thing with Michael Jackson. I mean, I can pull many video up where he's always going above and beyond with Michael. You know what I mean? I think what happened was what he should not have done, I think, is because remember his first album, it was all the trash music that Michael was like, I'm not doing this, and he just threw him out, and then the label just picked it up and gave it to Justin. You know what I mean? And I think off the strength of that, people twisted around a little bit and was just like, oh, there he goes, biting off now the Michael Jackson, stuff like that. But my thing is like, regardless, that music was going to be given to somebody else. It was going to be given to anybody. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like,
it always
let's
happens.
not take that away. The Janet thing though, you should take ownership, because you didn't speak up for her. You let your team. You became very sensitive, and you wanted to hide, and you probably got scared. And I'm sure the team probably was like, "Oh, you better, keep a straight and narrow, and be very Disney." But my thing is like, you messed up there, because you should have supported her. You should have had her back. You should have owned whatever punishment was coming their way. You should have spoke up when the media put out there that she was being blacklisted, and that part I 100% am carrying all the way, because like, yo, where's your loyalty? You don't have one. And now when we're trying to say good things about you, it's very hard to, like, I just try to bring up some good qualities on him, but I'm still on the same boat where it's like, I could bring up these qualities, but I'm not defending you, because you don't do it. You don't defend the next person. Look how long it took you to speak up for Britney. Yeah, you're apologizing now because of the backlash, which is why I strongly believe that he's extra scared now to release music, because I love the last album, but it didn't do well. The singles didn't hit any charts. It didn't go nowhere for him. The tour, I went to the tour. It was really good. That's the only successful thing he got out of it. But it wasn't a good, commercially, it wasn't a good album. So my thing is like, you have that didn't do extremely well. You got the Britney backlash. Now you got Janet coming after you. Well, the fans are going to come after you. Yeah, like you can't touch, you can't sell. It's just wait another year, and it's going to suck, because I'm assuming, being the artist that he is, like any other artist, you probably have the beats and the sounds that you have ready for now, and you might have to change it should you push back your music.
He's gonna wait a couple of months and let all of this smoke die down before the music comes out, because of course, you have not only you have the documentary, but of course we got the Super Bowl, and that's always hashtag justice for Janet. Like, that's always every time. Excuse me, we have the halftime that comes up around that time. So he's going to be getting it. And I'm sure, like, when the new album comes out, you're going to get those trolls that are going to be trolling him over what we just talked about. So regardless of how he keeps trying to push things on this other stuff, he's still going to keep getting the smoke that he's going to get, unfortunately. So,
well, that's what he gets for not supporting.
That part. And that's what I was saying. Like, if he had people's back, instead of trying to bring Sexy back, then, I'd be here for him, but
it's true,
man. But in the words of my girl Nene, girl, bye. But anyway, so there's so this is a story I thought was really interesting. So there's this mysterious up and coming artist whose work has been championed by the likes of the Queen of Pop herself, Madonna. Since we're talking about the other Queen of Pop, Janet, we got more than one Queen of Pop. Madonna, and sells up to 5 figures. Now, eyebrows were raised when it was revealed that this artist by the name of Red was none other than Madonna's eldest son, Rocco Ritchie. So the 21-year-old Madonna child, the child that Madonna had with ex-husband Guy Ritchie, who's been making a lot of Hollywood movies, has been said in reports to have quietly established himself as an expressionist painter with a number of the shows at Tanya Baxter Contemporary Gallery in Chelsea, West London, since 2018. I know he's been living in London because, I know he was having his issues with his mother, so he went to live with his father. But since Page Six basically were the ones that unmasked Ritchie and spilled all his tea, opinion has been divided on whether his success is due to talent or the weight of his parents' paint. So that was what I was thinking of when I looked at it. Now I looked at the paintings. The paintings are fierce. We'll pop up the paintings and stuff. Oh, we moved on. I love this picture, but we moved on to the next story. But anyway, excuse me. No, I love the paintings. The paintings are fierce and everything, but it's unfortunate because it's like this kid's got talent, but it's unfortunate he can't help what family he's been born into. His father's a big time Hollywood movie director. Mother's like one of the most famous pop singers on the planet. So he can't go work at an Applebee's. He can't go, give, serve, help put wood on the top of your car at Home Depot. Like he can't do any of these regular jobs. He has to do something, and at least he's creating his stuff and making his money, and people willing to pay that thousands of dollars for an oil painting. Okay, well, do you, sis? I don't know what y'all think about this.
No, I mean, if the talent is there, which he has, then it's kudos. But it's just like, you damn if you do, if you damn if you don't. Because let's just say in a funny world, like a few other celebrities who make their children work in really weird jobs. Let's say he was to do Home Depot. The first thing that's going to come out of people's mouths is, how is Madonna's son working Home Depot? Like, Madonna, you're a bad mother. You're so rich. Why do you have him working at Home Depot? Like, he doesn't need, you know what I mean? So it's like, but now if he's doing this, it's like, oh, well, of course, of the strength of your parents and who they are. So it's like, you can't win either way. And my thing is like, people need to back off. If he's not talented and he's getting success out of it, then it makes sense, because obviously the power of the parents and money pays for everything. It gets taken care of. But if the talent is there, then give it to him. And he purposely went, and no one knew at first who it was. It was totally under a different name. And I feel like Lourdes was getting that, because for how many years people are saying, you're Madonna's daughter, why are you not doing anything? She's not doing music, she's not too fast. Like, what is she doing? What is she doing? What's she doing? They're waiting for her. Now they're saying this year she's going to come up with a big surprise, whether she's going to be a model or whatever.
I mean, she's been modeling.
But it's just like,
I'm saying, like, she was in the Savage Fenty show.
She's been modeling, but well, recently, this is the most recent thing. This is coming up to now. But what I'm saying is, for years they've been trying to figure out what is it she's doing and why she's not releasing anything. So it's just like, you can't really win with anybody here.
Exactly. And that goes for, I think, a lot of celebrity kids. What can they do? They can't go work a regular 9 to 5. Like what I was saying when we talked about this prior. Like Northwest, she can't go work at a Dwayne Reed. Like she is a Kardashian royalty. She's gonna her mother will pass on whatever thing that she's doing and create something for Northwest so she can have an LLC and make her money and doing all that other stuff. So these celebrity kids, they have to find ways to hustle and do what they need to do to make their own money, because you don't want to sit around and be a trust fund kid and your mother supporting you for the rest of their life. So if he has a talent that he's going to tap into and his paintings is good, then why not? Remember, you got anything to say about this?
You all took the words out of my mouth.
No. Yeah. Imagine seeing Northwest though at a like CVS or a Dwayne Reed denying you a refund for not having your receipt.
Okay.
Like, girl.
And then she get cussed out. And then she get cussed out by one of the guests. But Northwest is sassy, so she gonna come with a clapback. Like that little girl, she a little fierce one. So good luck, Rocco. Keep doing whatever it is you're doing. If you got a talent, I always say, go for it. And especially his father's an artist, his mother's an artist, so them genes clearly he's got the gift, as the Oracle says of Neo in the Matrix. Speaking of talented people who just been, I guess, a little on the messy side, let's talk about J Balvin, who went and got himself in hot water. So there was this recent award, and I ain't never heard of them, but there's this African Entertainment Awards, who basically gave J Balvin Afro Latino Artist of the Year the award, and why the accolade went to someone who is basically white Latino. So the African Entertainment Awards is in the hot seat for awarding Colombian singer J Balvin, who's 36, Afro Latino Artist of the Year. So following the last achievement, J Balvin took to his Instagram stories and shared that despite the category of the award, he is not Afro-Latino. Now, In the Ghetto rapper reshared a video of AEA's president speaking on his controversial win and captioned the post, saying, "I am not Afro-Latino, but thank you for giving me a place in the contribution of Afrobeat music and entertainment." So I have heard So now I should probably finish by saying AEA's president released a statement and video to the Music Awards Official USA Instagram page saying, for the people who have contributed to the African culture and not based on your race, but based on your contribution to the African culture. Child, colorism is rampant, as we know. So they said, our category is not based on color, it's based on, again, the contribution from these artists who are contributing to the African cultures. I mean, look, we have so many people out here who do, who are Afro Latino who could have been represented. Like you could pull Don Omar, you could pull Ozuna, you could pull so many people you could pull Setch, you could pull so many people from, the reggaeton community who you could have brought in there. I mean, I love J Balvin. He's like one of my favorite artists, one of many. But for the most part, I kind of see it as an issue. Now, look, he don't know what his bloodline is. He could have some African blood up in him, as some people would debate that. But if he's going by saying, you know what, I'm not Afro Latino, I'm a white Latino, then we'll go with that. And I should also bring up Amara La Negra. So,
yeah, no. I hear what you're saying, but let's not forget something here. What he did was the right step to say, hey, don't put me there. I know what I'm doing. Don't. He was smart. His PR team, like, they were smart for fixing this and correcting it. But you mentioned a lot of artists that should have been nominated, but this is what I'm trying to say is, but did they have music? Did it sell? Did something come out this year? It's like the Grammys, you know what I mean? Like
Ozuna's always dropping an album pretty much every year.
Like his yeah, but
Quiet as kept.
Ozuna wasn't nominated. What I'm saying is, but he wasn't hitting that genre. J Balvin's album, last 3 albums, but the most recent album, the music he's producing, fit the caliber of what he was nominated for. And if it sold and it was the most popular music, then it makes sense to win. But I think they should just change the title. If they didn't have it, then it wouldn't make any sense. It's almost like, if you get a random, let's say like an Ariana Grande, like this year she had the biggest album of the year. You compare with other people, yes, who are nominated should go. But if she sold the most and she got the most radio play, it's just common sense she would win the award. You're not going to give it to the next person because they solely deserve it. Because
I don't know if I agree with that, because that's sort of like that sounds very pay for play. That because you're so popular, then you should be given the award. But if you're not in the category of Afro Latino Artist of the Year, it should not be given to someone like a J Balvin.
No,
popularity aside. So that's why I was saying, like, I'm naming people who are considered.
I'm talking about the genre. He hit the genre. That's what I'm saying. If you're not gonna name J Balvin wasn't nominated for nothing. His album had Afro. It's Afro beat culture.
Right.
It has it.
But that's not what people are taking from the title of the category. What I'm saying.
Right. Right. No. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that's why he was nominated and that's why he won. But the title, I agree. Like they should have just went.
The issue is the title, which they changed. We'll talk about that. The issue is the title, which we'll talk about in a second. What they changed it to. But I just want to get Remy's opinion on this.
Well, that's like not too long ago. I think it was for like the Grammys or something. Justin Bieber for that album. I think that one of his most recent albums, I think it was called like Intentions, the one with the red background or whatever. He wanted to be considered an R&B artist and was upset that he did not get nominated for Best R&B Album, whatever the case is, even though that it was an R&B album, like genre, whatever the case is, to the effect of what Lindsay was saying. But I get what Kris is saying in that Afro-Latino is not what he identifies as, so he shouldn't have even been nominated at all because he doesn't fit that category.
Exactly. So that's why I was naming people who are Afro-Latino, who are popular in the reggaeton community. Yes, J Balvin is popular. So is Bad Bunny. So is, so many others. But J Balvin, I guess, because he looks ethnic enough without certain, and we already know, we could talk about colorism to the cows come home on how the media likes to perceive safe people within certain communities, safe Black folks, where you got to be a certain hue in order to get more push on the charts and in the entertainment industry than someone who is like a darker hue. We've heard Amara La Negra talk about this so many times on Love and Hip Hop, how she's been treated in the music industry based on the color of her skin. There's so many artists who come across and give those opinions in that way. Whereas, it could be Black, light-skinned people are treated differently than dark-skinned Black people. Same thing with the Latino community, where a lot of people within the community don't like to acknowledge their their African ancestry. So there's a lot of that drama that comes into that, which is why I guess people are really sensitive about him winning this award with this category. But they did, since I guess because they didn't realize how much backlash it was going to get, they wound up changing the title to Best Latin Artist of the Year, which I think is a much safer choice. But still, I'm glad we're still having this debate and we're talking about it.
Yeah. Everything you're saying is, I agree 1000%. I was talking about purely the music itself. That's what I was just talking about. Let's take a random, any other. Let me put it this way, so we can, because I don't want what I said to get mixed with what I was saying, because I think it was touching a territory like, oh, it's gonna paint me somewhere that's not. I agree with everything you're saying, and you are right. What I'm saying is, the reason he was nominated, the reason why he was put in there. So let's forget about J Balvin for a second. Let's put anybody, let's say an Asian person of some sort, let's say, okay? If their music they were making is what the category is, that's the only thing I'm trying to say is, I don't think they should be shunned from being in that category.
I think people would take offense if an Asian person was nominated for doing reggaeton or Afro Latino music.
So? But that's what I'm saying. I think that's so crazy, because there's a famous Asian group that was doing like was it a merengue? I forgot their name.
I don't mind people doing different genres. Like we have black people doing country music, but then people say black people doing country music before white folks hijacked it. So
right. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, if you make that genre of music, right, you make it, then I don't see why you wouldn't be nominated. But going back, it's just the title. I agree. The title itself should be totally different. I just want to make it clear. I was talking about the music, like why he was nominated. Should he have been on it because of the title? Then no. But I'm saying the reason why he was pushed in is because the music he made was there.
And I 1,000%, I 1,000% agree with that. Like the music is rooted in Afro beats and African drums, the whole rhythm and everything of all drums and all music leads to Africa. Like I totally get that, and it's that urban hip hop sound. Like there's so many different genres where you got your reggae music, you have all these different Caribbean sounds. We're about to take a break after this segment. But for the most part, I think the trigger for a lot of people, and probably I don't know if we're going around in circles with this, but the trigger seems to be using Afro Latino in the conversation or in the title, which pissed a lot of people off, because there's that underlying situation of colorism within the Latino community, where it's like light skin versus dark skin, and that sort of drama. So there's that. So it was the problem with the African People Awards or African Fame, whatever they call themselves. And quiet as it's kept, we got a lot of white Africans we seeing all over in the media and stuff. You don't really see a lot of black Africans. So for them to go and put that in that situation and put it, and then J Balvin's, Jose's response to it was saying, "Thank you for the nomination. However, I'm not this." Actually, add a little fuel to the fire. Basically, is what I'm thinking. It's like, maybe if he didn't say that, maybe the blow wouldn't have been less severe, or maybe it was still been severe. Who knows?
No, I think it was like, I'm glad that the first thing that he fixed his thumbs to type was, "I'm not Afro-Latino." He doesn't recognize himself as that, because I think that that's what the big debate was about, is the fact that within this title, he doesn't fit the category. And I think if he would have accepted the award, it would have paid no attention to that. It would have looked worse than him addressing it and saying, "Look, just for the record, this is not how I identify. Let's just put that out in the air before anything." And then I'm sure that's what led to the name change of the title.
Exactly. So you guys watching, definitely leave your comments down below. I definitely want to hear what your opinion is on this subject, because I know it's a very touchy subject, and it's definitely one of the things I love about Drinks and Dragons, that we can bring up these subjects and give our opinion on this, especially when it comes to people within the music industry, and like we were talking about before, with people within the music industry and the underlying racism and colorism and all the drama that happens with that. So this was a really good one, but we got another really good one coming up after we take this break. So we got a couple more topics, probably I think two more, that we're going to close out the show. A controversial topic about a trans man who gave birth to his son is criticizing medical staff for calling him mother. In other words, we both call me mother. And Grindr is revealing the countries with the most tops and bottoms. So we're going to take a little short gay break, and when we come back, we'll come back with more Drinks and Drags. So don't go nowhere, y'all.
And my thing is, this has to be scripted, because if this was a real thing, this would be a huge HR case with the way you be speaking to your staff. But going back to the topic in hand, but this rumor has been going on for years since the very first time I've ever seen Watch Happens Live, which was like what, 5 years ago. Before I even see the show, I've heard this to be rumored. What's crazy is even Kathy Griffin has said it a few years ago and was like, this show keeps getting picked up and is not doing well, and he's so unprofessional. Everything that we've said about him, and on top of that, offers drugs to his guests that shows on, and is at times rude and very cut short with it. So my thing is like, how new is this? At this point, we need to know: is it going to be canceled at the end of the year, or is it still going to run? So I feel like if it's still going to run, we're going to hear this rumor pop up again next year.
Well, yeah, I've heard the rumors that he is he's a fan of the old booger sugar, but
Bottom and verse in the gay community. Do not touch my booty. But if you do, nigga, don't tell nobody, because I'm a top. Verse men are a myth. You are either a top, a bottom, or an aspiring top. Never are you verse. Never do you top and bottom. I don't know what they talking about. I just want my nut. Booty, balls, ding-a-ling, I don't care. Maybe I do like booty. I mean, I am a man. Part 2. I'm versing the sheets, but on dates, my wallet is real submissive. I tell guys I'm a top, but for my boyfriend or the right mistress, I'll do anything. There are bottoms. I don't take pipe, but I will give you some of that Gawk 3000 if you want, okay? See, we all the same height when you horizontal.
welcome back to the show, honey. That was hilarious. Yeah, these clips. I live for that bottom one, the top, bottom, but we have a story coming up later on the show that actually is going to be revealing like the top countries that have the most tops, bottoms, and verse. But that was a good segue with that. But before we do, we're going to get to the other one. Let's bring in our panel, Lindsay and Remy. It's funny, like even with the last clip that was played about the previous episodes we did weeks ago about Andy, it never gets old with that good old booger sugar. And you said the same thing that you're saying now. So it was cute or whatever. So
at first I thought that was repeating what we just aired. I'm like, wait, did I just say this? I'm like, wait.
I mean, I got the same shirt on.
Different video.
But no haircut and no sweater. But okay, so let's get right back into the gig. So a transgender man who gave birth to his son is criticizing medical staff for calling him mother and claims that it's important to stop automatically linking pregnancy with being a woman. Now, on October of 2020, Los Angeles resident Bennett Casper Williams, who's 37, gave birth via cesarean section to a healthy baby boy with his husband Malik. But in the process of having little Hudson, Casper Williams was troubled by the constant misgendering of him by hospital staff who insisted on calling him a mom. And this is according to the Daily Mail, saying no one can ever really know whether having children is possible until you try. Being born with a uterus doesn't make conceiving or carrying a certainty. The father, who began transitioning in 2014, said of his parenthood journey, "That's why it's important that we stop defining womanhood in terms of motherhood, because it's a false equivalency that all women can become mothers, that all mothers carry their children, but that all people who carry children are mothers." So, when I heard this, I was like, "Sir."
I'm going to start off by saying you don't know if you could get pregnant until you try. I know a lot of people who try to get pregnant.
Exactly. Including the one that took the 74 lows on Twitter that, did you see the meme?
Let's not. So I know that person specifically has tried to get pregnant and he cannot. So
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree. You know what it is too. It's because we're now respecting our who we are, and we have to use certain terms as he, they, them, us, he,
Mhm.
sissies, and mans and women. I get it, but my thing is, you have to also understand this is just us a few years still. It's still fresh. Like, even I still don't even know every pronouns for everybody. You know what I
Same
mean? Where
here.
it's like this gonna take a very long time for us to get to that point where we know, okay, based on what you're telling us. But
it's
my thing is,
because
like,
there's
we're
a
not
lot of
psychics
unlearning that
either.
needs to be
Let us
done.
Exactly.
1000%. So all I'm saying is, you could have just corrected, in my opinion, corrected and don't get upset. Get upset should
And
they
taking it
choose
to
to
social media,
continue
making
on
it a
not
big
respecting
news
your.
situation.
Yes, my thing is, take it to news if they don't respect it. If I come up to you tomorrow and I tell you guys, call me she moving forward, and don't use my real name, continue using Lindsay for life. The minute you and y'all heard me say okay, but then tomorrow you still say he and you still use my boy name, then I will be upset because I had this conversation with you. But if I didn't have that conversation with you and you still say he and use my boy name, or don't say them, or if I say hey, even though I'm dressed androgynous, still call me a he and you still say she,
Mm.
I can't get
Or
upset
Regis
if
and
I didn't
Kathy
have this
Lee.
conversation with you.
Mm.
I'm just gonna start calling you Rock.
Just rock. But
R O
that's what I'm
C
saying.
K
I
Rock.
think it. Yeah,
That stupid
the
ass
rock.
song.
But no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I, I think taking it to the extremes, like, for what? I don't think any doctor or nurse or anything meant any harm by it. And I feel like, had you corrected them and they respected what you want to be called, then it shouldn't have been to the extreme. But I'm pretty sure that's not how it went, and I'm pretty sure you didn't ask for it. I'm sure they didn't disrespect you, and you went straight to the extreme, saying I was here and I feel disrespected. Guess what? No shade. A lot of ignorant people, or not just ignorant, but who are not educated yet on it, is probably listening to this or was reading the blog and said like, but at the end of the day, women do get pregnant and give birth. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like,
And that was gonna be my
you know,
thoughts
if a
on it.
man can carry a man, see, and that's what it is. Like, you're saying this, and a lot of people are not going to get that until you educate them and let them know. Like I said, once they cross the boundaries and they disrespect what your wishes are, then that's a totally different conversation.
Mm-hmm. Remy, you have anything? Do you have anything to say on
No,
this?
no, I spoke.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree
yeah,
with
Oh,
y'all
I
on
guess I
that.
wasn't
yep.
paying attention.
Mhm.
But oh my bad. But
It was you.
I was like, there's a lot going on. But for the most part, ciao. Look, okay. So the three of us, I will say this. We know people who are trans. We love our trans community. We are the most progressive people on this panel when it comes to talking about trans issues or understanding what it's like to be trans. I have
Mm-hmm.
trans male friends. I live with them. I don't think I know a few of them
Mm-hmm.
that is like, I ain't even going to entertain the idea of going off testosterone just so I can use my uterus to have babies for 9 months. And yes, he's right. Not every person who has a baby is a mother or can carry a child. However, you are using the opportunity. Look, if you're going to transition, if you don't feel like you're in the right body, then that's great. But why even take the chance of, okay, now I'm going to use what I was born with, because I was born with women's parts, to have a child. And then all of a sudden, then once I push it out, now I'm gonna go back to being a man. So you can't, like, to me, pick and choose. I get the whole thing of like progression and all this other stuff, and we need to meet everybody where they're at mentally, but you cannot go and pick and choose that, okay, for 9 months, I'm gonna use my woman parts to have a child, but then you want to identify as a man.
Mm-hmm.
That's not right, because you already have a lot of trans people out here who want to be respected and say that they are this gender that they identify with, and they want to stick to that, or whatever they want to identify. Like, all trans people are
Mm-hmm.
not monoliths. So for this guy to kind of do this, to me, it's just like, see, this is why people get mad over certain. I mean, I don't give a damn about people getting mad over certain situations. I probably shouldn't say that, but for the most part, it's like, you can't, in my opinion, cherry pick. Okay, so now I'm a man, but then because I don't want to spend lots of money on IVF, or taking my eggs and putting in someone else and having them carry the child to term, um, then there's, why am I moving on? Oh, so then we have to basically change our opinions on these certain things. Like I'm all about let's evolve and we'll see if more people do this. But for the most part, I just feel like the guy is just bitching and moaning over something that to me I guess it's a big deal to him, but it's just not something that it's a controversial subject, I guess. But it's something that we should definitely, I guess, debate. But it's just I don't know, this whole thing annoyed me. But shout out to the trans people. Don't kill us. This is us giving our opinion. If you want to leave your comments and stuff in there and give your opinion on what you think about this, I definitely would like to hear what you guys have to say on this tea. So, I guess we can move on from that. So we have Grindr is revealing. This is from. What is it? Oh, Grindr is breaking down the tops, bottoms, and verse trends within its raunchy user base and ranked each country or city with the highest percentage of that respective trend. So, of the 13 million viewers in the Philippines, they have highest percentage of the tops by country: Philippines, Colombia, Argentina, Israel, and India. I don't know if I believe Philippines is tops. Highest percentage of bottoms by country. Wait, what happened?
I'm surprised. Maybe you're stereotyping. Maybe.
Probably. I mean, one of my Filipino friends was like, I don't believe that. But highest percentage of bottoms by country: Vietnam, China, South Africa, Peru, and Poland. Then we have most users by country: United States. Who uses Grindr? United States, United Kingdom, India, Mexico, and Brazil. Most users by city: Paris, London, New York, Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Los Angeles. And highest percentage of users looking for right now by country: United States, Australia, UK, Ireland, and Canada. Oh, and then it said interesting facts about U.S. cities. New York City has the highest percentage of users looking for right now. Salt Lake City, Utah has the highest percentage of users looking for travel only. It must be all the Mormons. San Francisco has the highest percentage of users with face pick. And Honolulu has the highest percentage of users who accept NSFW pics. So, yeah. Oh, and the last one is highest percentage that accepts nudes by country: Australia, China, US, UK, and Brazil. So, what y'all think?
Grindr is popular. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I mean, Grindr is Grindr. That's what it's. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, imagine if they break it down by boroughs. Oh my goodness, that'd be even more insane.
Okay, can you imagine, especially if you're like New York?
Are you? What are you most shocked from everything?
I don't think I said verse. Did I mention who was verse?
No.
Oh, they said Venezuela, Costa Rica, Romania, Russia, and Czech Republic. I guess that I guess they're going by people's algorithms of what they're putting on as their what they're into sexually. Like when you go on Grindr, they have like a list of, okay, are you a top bottom first, or you're a bear, you're this. They have all these different categories, and now you can post your ass on Grindr again. So there's there's that.
What?
So I guess
this information doesn't benefit me. I haven't used that app in over 2 years.
Oh, you ain't lying. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
It's for what are you most shocked about? You didn't answer the question, Kris. What are you most shocked from what you just read from this list? What are you most shocked about?
Highest percentage of tops. Well, they got Philippines as number one. I can see Colombia because they got horse meat between their legs. So I believe the Colombian one. Argentina, I can see that. Israel, there's a lot of there's a lot of people with pent up sexual stuff in Israel.
Argentina, I believe.
Yes, I do too.
I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised. But then again, maybe it's because the cultures and there's no way. I'm just so surprised that places like Egypt and Morocco it's not mentioned. Only because of my
Muslim countries.
These are very toppy. Yo, Remy is dying. I hate you.
Not
the horse meat. I can't. I usually say donkey D's, but horse meat is just disgusting.
That just took me out.
I'm surprised that those places weren't mentioned. Like those countries and cities weren't mentioned, but
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean that is true. I thought that would have been.
it's shocking.
Yeah, I thought it would have been. I thought it would have been there. But yeah, they said 20-minute city. Paris has the highest number of Grindr users, with London, New York, Sao Paulo, and Los Angeles not too far behind. In a sign of the apocalyptic times, the most popular tag used by users was vaccinated, followed by the usual suspects: discreet kissing, FWB, first friend with benefits, and cuddling. And they say romance is dead. Now, the top Grindr profile songs are all, pretty much what bottoms, I guess. Like "Kiss Me More" by Doja Cat and SZA were listed as most by users. And then he said queer folk also love Lady Gaga and Ariana Grande's "Rain on Me," Lil Nas X's "Montero Call Me by Your Name," Adele's "Easy on Me." I guess that's what they're telling their tops before they take the bottoms. "Easy on Me," and Billie Eilish's "Happier Than Ever." So yeah, okay.
And that's that.
And just like that, that's that.
Horse meat.
I mean, am I lying? All these Colombian boys,
No.
they mutants down there.
Don't do it, y'all. Don't do it. I'm trying not to laugh too hard.
I can.
But anyway, I guess.
I
Well,
know
yeah,
what
that
the-
was what.
No, say I know about the Argentinians. That I can tell you. I can vouch for you about them. But that's it. That's it.
Fine. I will take your word for it. Wait, I think I slept with an Argentinian in my very own apartment. He was cute or whatever.
Of course you did. They are cuties. Argentinians are cuties. But I'm not surprised about the French.
And petite.
I'm not surprised. I've heard that many times about the French being the most Grindr users. Something over there in France. There's something over there. All that wee and the baguettes and stuff. I'm gonna go over there and find out.
Okay. What is why I find it interesting that they have the highest percentage of verse people is Russia, Czech Republic, Costa Rica, Romania, and Venezuela. So they got the Russian countries up in there. Those. A lot of them, they like to claim. They like to claim they ain't got gays. I mean, child, you can just go to Brooklyn.
I mean, I feel like every place likes to claim it. I'm not surprised about that. Like, come on. But a nice Russian.
True. A lot of them are uptight.
I once met out with a nice Russian.
I
This person used to work with all of us.
Child, I know exactly what you're talking about. But on that note, let's wrap up the show. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Drinks and Drag. 9 episodes down. Looking forward to hitting y'all with episode 10 in the following week. So yeah, once again, thank you all for tuning in. Kris Avalon. We have Remy. Wait, I don't know what's up. My hands are like both the same damn direction. But anyway.
Yeah, this one.
But anyway, Remy here. Lindsay here. Oh, my hand. Anyway, love you all for watching. Ciao, darlings.